Good morning and welcome to another episode of Max Living Radio. My name is Dr. Jake Tucker, Best of Lincoln winner here 2017, and we'll be hearing the results soon for 2018, but I hear that it's great news, and I have even better news today. Here's the thing. Half of Americans will suffer from cancer or get a cancer diagnosis in their lifetime. It is the number 2 killer in the United States. Breast cancer is the number 1 killer worldwide. And the good news is we know that lifestyle is a major factor in preventing cancer. In fact, a study published in 2008 in the Journal of Pharmaceutical Research said that cancer is a preventable disease that requires major lifestyle changes. And in that study, what it said is that only 5 to 10% of all cancers even have to do with your genes. That these cancers are due to, number one, if you smoke, that was a major cause of it. Number 2, your diet has a huge role in this. And third, and all the way down the rest of the list, are things that create inflammation in your body. And really, when you think about it, the things that they're blaming for cancer in your diet, the things that they're blaming in your lifestyle for cancer, these are all things that create inflammation. And so basically the summary of this research, published again in 2008, so we've known about this for 10 years, is that if you start to make lifestyle changes that reduce inflammation, then you have a better chance of surviving cancer. And so this is just incredible. The amount that we get to do, the amount that we know about cancer and what its causes are. And so I just want to put this out there. We are doing an incredible event on the immune system. And why are we doing it on the immune system? Because the immune system has such an amazing role in preventing cancer in your body every single day and decreasing inflammation in your body. It also has a major role in creating inflammation in your body. And so we're going to be going into all of that on Saturday, September 22nd. So this month, a week from this Saturday at 9 a.m. until game time. Until game time, we're going to be at Christ Lincoln at 44th and Sumner. We're going to be in the fellowship hall, and I'm going to be breaking down cancer from each and every one of these components, each of the things that you do and I do on a daily basis that are creating cancer in our body. Because even though half of Americans will receive a cancer diagnosis in our lifetimes, each and every one of us has cancer cells in our body that our immune system destroys every single day. And so it's up to us to make the decision to boost our immune system so that it can fight off cancer, or ignore our immune system and continue to do the things that create cancer in our body. And so let me dive into smoking real quick. Because what that does is it creates inflammation in our lungs. And if you've had any sort of pathophysiology class, you've studied the cancer mechanism, and specifically from smoking. And so what happens in the lungs when you smoke is that the lungs are designed to take in oxygen, or the air that we breathe, break it down into its usable components, and to push out the unusable components. And so at a cellular level, it's made up of a very permeable membrane that allows good things in and to a limited extent keeps bad things out. However, when you are a regular smoker, you are constantly taking in all of these particles that are foreign to the body that your lungs are not used to. And so because your body's amazingly intelligent, it will start to protect itself. It will start to harden. The cells themselves will change shape. That's why if you look at a smoker's lungs and a non-smoker's lungs, the non-smoker's lungs are pink and healthy. They look like they actually have blood flowing through them. But a non-smoker's lungs are gray and tarry, just like what cigarette smoke looks like. And so the cells actually change shape to deal with that for your survival. But the more that they are exposed to this, the more that they change shape, the more that they grow in opposition to all of these invaders, the more likely you are to develop cancer in your lungs. The more that these toxins get in, the more that they hit your bloodstream, because that's what it's designed to do in your lungs. That air that you're breathing in is designed to hit your bloodstream and be carried through your body by your cardiovascular system, the more likely you are to develop cancer in other parts of your body. And so your body develops in your immune system an immune system reaction, an immune reaction called inflammation. And so inflammation is this, and you can think of this like when you go out and you go for a run and you happen to step off the sidewalk and twist your ankle. If you twist it badly enough, immediately that ankle starts to swell up. Now that swelling is a good thing. It's part of the healing process. And if you let it do its job, your ankle will heal faster. But if you do not let your ankle rest, if you just push through, if you rub some dirt on it, let's say, and you keep pushing through, that ankle will become chronically injured, and the cells inside of that ankle will start to change and adapt to the new stress. In fact, if you break a bone in an abnormal spot and you do not properly set it and you keep working on it, you will develop a pseudo joint in that bone. That's how intelligent your body is. It adapts to the forces that are constantly bombarding it. Just like if you surround yourself with toxins like nicotine, like the tar in your cigarettes, then you will develop irregular cells that are better designed to handle the toxins that are coming in through your cigarette smoke. Same thing is true with your nutrition. If you are constantly taking in soda, if you are constantly taking in the amount of sugar that the average American takes in, and if you break it down on average, each of us takes in about a cup to half a cup of sugar every single day. About a cup to a half a cup of sugar every single day. And our body is only designed to handle about 2 grams of sugar per hour. That is 100 times more sugar on a daily basis than what our body was designed to handle. And so that creates an inflammatory response in our digestive system, which is where 80% of your immune system resides. It takes up residence in your digestive system. There's a reason why most of the blood flow and most of your nerve endings are in your digestive system. It's so that your body, your immune system, can go out and it can fight off invaders everywhere else. And so if you're not properly taking care of your digestive system, then your immune system starts to break down. Not only are you creating an inflammation response in your digestive system, like when you take in those sugars, like when you take in inflammatory grains, those processed grains into your diet, it breaks down the cell lining in your digestive system, creates a more likely scenario where you actually develop colon cancers, where you develop digestive system cancers, but it also makes it more likely that your immune system is not going to be able to handle everything coming in. And so obviously I do not have time this morning on this radio show to break down everything that you should do as far as the foods that you put in your body. But let me just say this one more time. If you are free next Saturday, you absolutely need to be at our Super Immunity, Lifelong Immunity seminar at Christ Lincoln in the Fellowship Hall next Saturday at 9 a.m. And you can leave in time for the game. I'm going to give you all the information that you need in those 2 hours. But if cancer runs in your family at all, whether it's an uncle, an aunt, a cousin, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, then you need to be there, because your odds of getting cancer go up with the amount of family members that have cancer. And so those tickets are on sale right now for $50. But for the first 10 callers this morning, I want you to call right now, and I want you to call until you get through. And if you need to leave a message because of your Saturday morning plans, leave a message. We're going to give you a call back within a half hour to confirm those tickets for you. That's 10 tickets for $10 a piece. And that's also going to be a ticket for a guest, because it's not enough to just know this information. You need an accountability partner. And you need an accountability partner because just knowing the information is never enough. Just making the decision to show up and collect the data is never enough. You have to put that into action. And so call right now, 402-413-8825. Or if you can't get through and you don't want to leave a message, send us a text and we will respond to that as quickly as possible to confirm that you're one of the first 10 callers to receive those tickets for $10 a piece. And so I want to take a step aside from that right now, because I talk a lot about the role of inflammation in disease creation in your body. And I talk a lot about the role of the digestive system and the immune system in making sure that your body's healthy and able to respond to invaders and sickness and chronic disease. But the thing that is most important when it comes to cancer is not inflammation. It's not your immune system. It's not even nutrition. The thing that is most important in keeping your immune system healthy and fighting off cancer is to make sure that your nervous system is healing and functioning at 100%. In fact, while there is multiple studies and it's widely accepted that inflammation is a major cause of cancer and that the immune system is the number one way that we need to fight it, we find that the immune system is best boosted when your vagus nerve tone is boosted. When you have the proper tone in your vagus nerve, which if you're looking behind me on Facebook, is that blue nerve exiting out the top of the brainstem that is Latin for wander. It literally goes to every digestive organ in your body to make sure that that immune system is properly modulated. And so there's tons of studies out there that show everything from autoimmune diseases starting to decrease and go away when your vagus nerve is functioning properly, to cancers being eradicated simply by putting the proper tone in your nervous system, and specifically that vagus nerve. And so the number one way to tell if you're going to survive a cancer diagnosis, according to the research, is how well that vagus nerve is healing and functioning. To measure that heart rate variability, the ability of your heart rate to come up and down, that's directly controlled by your vagus nerve. The ability of your blood pressure to change according to the stressors. That's the number one predictor in your ability to survive a cancer diagnosis, even better than your cancer stage. You can have stage 5 cancer, and if you do not have good vagal tone, then you have or if you have good vagal tone, you have a better chance of surviving cancer than someone who has stage 0 cancer and has very little vagal tone. That's what the research says. And how you get that checked is through a nervous system evaluation. And your chiropractor is the best person qualified to assess your vagus nerve for proper function. That's what's going to determine it. And so for the first 3 callers today, call in not for the tickets necessarily, but for an appointment to discuss how well your vagus nerve is healing and functioning. That would normally be $130 in our office. So I'm going to give the first 3 callers a 50% discount for that exam. Any testing that we do in the office, including imaging. We do digital x-rays for anyone that needs them here in our office. Once we've determined that they're necessary, we'll tell you what the total cost would be. The average cost is only $65. So call now, 402-413-8825. The first 3 callers will receive that 50% discount. Stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to part 2 of today's episode, Super Lifetime Immunity and Cancer. Before the break, we were talking specifically about how cancer is a lifestyle preventable disease 90 to 95% of the time. 90 to 95% of the time. And the things that cause cancer are things that create inflammation in your body. And so we talked about smoking at length. We talked a little bit about nutrition. And we talked at length about how the nervous system, specifically your vagus nerve, plays a direct role in lowering your inflammation and increasing your immune function. And where I'm getting most of this research is an incredible author, an incredible mentor to me. His name is Dr. Charles Majors, and it's coming from this book, The Cancer Killers. This book is available on Amazon for digital download and is one of the best resources I can point you to if you or a loved one are dealing with cancer. I have limited copies available in my office. It's The Cancer Killers, The Cause is the Cure. And this book is very controversial. If you go and you talk to your oncologist about what's in this book, he'll say, that's hogwash, there's no research to support it. And yet, all of the research that I'm citing today is coming from the back of this book. And I absolutely recommend this for every single person in the United States of America, because each and every one of us is dealing with cancer on an everyday basis. If not in our own bodies, then in the bodies of those that we love the most. And so I want to talk to you for a minute about some of the things that Dr. Majors recommended. And at the end of this book, he really gets into this. He gets into some of the top supplements. He gets into his specific protocol. And on page 88, or 87 rather, he starts out on the top 10 non-toxic therapy programs for people that are dealing with cancer. And so he just lists them out and goes into a little bit of detail about what they are. But these are resources that are available to everyone. You do not have to do chemotherapy and radiation. Those are the ones that are accepted as the standard of care here in the United States. Just because something is standard of care does not mean that you have to be forced into it. So you and your oncologist should work together to determine what is the right therapy for you. But let me tell you, if you are diagnosed with anything, it is your responsibility to become the expert in your condition. The expert, even more than your oncologist, even more than your immunologist, even more than your cardiologist. If you have a disease, it is your responsibility, because God put you in charge of your health, to be the expert in that condition. I can only know so much that's out there. And really, doctors in general, if you combine all of our knowledge, it's estimated that we only understand about 1/3 of the knowledge that is required to understand everything that's happening in the human body, to understand disease processes, in order to understand cause. And so when a doctor specializes in something, he only understands a very little bit about a very little bit. And so it's best to trust in the natural laws and principles that God created for health and healing. That's the main thing. That's all of these therapies, all these protocols that are in here, all of the supplements that are recommended here, they are focused on God's laws and principles of health and healing, because we are designed for health. From birth, from conception, when the sperm and the egg came together and started forming you, you were first designed for health. And how do I know that? Because your nervous system was designed first. It was designed for function. And that function still resides, still is controlled by your nervous system. I mean, just simply for your heart to beat, for your lungs to breathe, for a cut on your leg to heal. The intelligence that resides up here that keeps those things beating, keeps your lungs breathing, keeps that leg healing, that does that automatically. We don't have to think about it in order for those things to happen. Those happen by default. But when we make decisions like taking in sugar on a daily basis, like taking in soda on a daily basis, like the average American or standard American diet that we consume in the United States that gets less than a serving of vegetables a day on average, that consumes almost a pound of sugar on average every single day, we start to interfere with God's laws and principles for health and healing. When all we do is sit at a computer desk every single day, we interfere with God's laws and principles of health and healing. And that's when our bodies start to break down. And that's why we have the 5 essentials. That's why we have this workshop on Saturday, a week from the airing of this show on KFOR at 9 a.m. until 11:30. We will get you out in time to watch football. I promise you will not miss your football game. But it is imperative, even more than a Huskers win. As much as I bleed red, it is more imperative that you understand exactly what it's going to take to avoid a cancer diagnosis, to do everything within your power to live to your full health potential. And so I want to teach you those things that I understand about health. I want to share with you the wisdom that God's blessed me with, the knowledge that he's exposed me to and given you an opportunity to learn. A lot of it comes from this book, but a lot of it is also out there in the research, and I want to put that in front of you. So again, for the first 10 callers this morning that are requesting a ticket to that event, you are getting a $50 ticket for just $10. First 10 callers, $10 tickets for a $50 event, and that includes a ticket for a guest at no additional charge. And so call that number 402-413-8825, and we'll make sure that you have a seat reserved at Lincoln Christian Church at Christ Lincoln Church at 44th and Sumner in the Fellowship Hall on Saturday morning. Stay tuned. I'm going to take a break, and I'll be right back after this. Hey, Facebook. So I only record the first 2 parts of this show for air on Facebook Live. If you want the full show, tune in on KFOR radio on 1240 AM here in Lincoln, or 1033 FM here in Lincoln. Or you can, if you're not in the state, not in the Lincoln area, you can go to kfornow.com at 9:30 AM on Saturday morning to catch the full show. You guys have a great week. God bless you.